So I was standing there looking at the rim, and I was like, this is a comfortable range.
Dame just raised up from 35 feet and hit a buzzer beater that clinched the game and the series for the Blazers. Again, just like unfortunately for the Rockets, the Blazers had Lillard.
A three wins the series. It's Lillard. He got the shot off. Lillard good! And the Blazers.
Everybody.
What's going on, y'all? Today we got how a two-star recruit became an NBA superstar.
In high school, Damian Lillard was short, skinny, and just a two-star recruit. After that, he played for a college nobody had ever heard of.
The title of my movie is It's Dame Time.
Get ready for Dame Time, a story of Lillard's unlikely road to the NBA and how he became the most clutch player of the last decade. Damian grew up on the mean streets of Oakland, where there was only one rule on the court: kill or be killed. Dame spent most of his childhood on the playgrounds and would often play against much older competition. When he saw that his older brother had a better crossover, Dame didn't stop until he perfected his. By the age of 13, he told his family he'll make the NBA, win Rookie of the Year, and become an All-Star. However, everybody just laughed at him. When he joined the varsity team as a high school freshman, Lillard was only 5'5". By the end of his sophomore season, he was 5'9". But he wasn't the guy and didn't get much playing time. Dame's coach even told him that his chances of making the NBA are zero. Thankfully, Dame got plenty of playing time for the local youth club named Oakland Rebels, and it was with the Rebels when he made his first game-winning shot, which was both embarrassing and educational. The Rebels played a local tournament and were the underdog in an elimination game against Jared Bayless, a future NBA player. Dame was the best scorer on the Rebels, but far from a star, and nobody gave him much attention next to Bayless. It all came down to the final possession. With the Rebels down by 2, Lillard caught the offensive rebound, sprinted behind to the three-point line, and rose up for a three.
I just raised up for three with a dude right in my face. He right underneath me, I raise up, I hit the three, and I go crazy.
And it was the birth of Dame Time, with one big difference. When he hits a game winner in the NBA, Lillard is super calm and ice cold, never showing too much emotion. But back in that tournament as a high school junior, Lillard went wild. After he hit the shot, he took off his jersey and started screaming in excitement, which was the worst thing he could have done. There were still 2 seconds on the clock when his shot went in, and when the ref saw him shirtless, Dame got a technical, and the opponents got 2 free throws. Bayless converted both freebies. The Rebels lost the game, and Lillard felt huge embarrassment, swearing that he'll never get out of control like that again. As a high school...
Okay. There's a reason, there's a method to the madness, y'all. There's a method to the madness. That's why you don't go crazy no more. You heard? Like, you gotta make sure you get the job done. You ain't go, you know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna go too crazy. You just go do that, that look like, yeah, I did that, yeah, that's me. Whoa, that's
school
tough.
senior.
That's tough.
Lillard averaged 22 points and 5 assists per game. But due to the fact he was listed at 6 feet and only 165 pounds, no big school gave him a serious look.
6 feet means
Dame was
like
considered
5'10".
a 2-star recruit, and he only received college offers from 4 schools. In the end, he chose a little-known university in Utah called Weber State because they were the first school that believed in him and offered him a scholarship. As a freshman, Lillard wasn't all that, and he averaged just 11 points. But the next season, he improved to 20 points per game and led the Wildcats to the conference championship and was named Conference Player of the Year.
My experience at Weber State, I thought it was a great experience. I liked the fact that I was around great people. The community, they really accepted me. My coaches treated me the same way they treated me when they recruited me, and the team was really like a family.
Still, it was a small school in a weak conference, and it wasn't like he was dropping 20 a night against Duke and Kentucky. But in his junior season, Dame continued with great form, and his name started appearing on the NBA draft boards. And then disaster struck. Dame broke his foot and was ruled out for the season. After the injury, Lillard's name immediately disappeared from all mock drafts.
In my junior year, I break my foot. Like right when I thought I was about to be able to just enter the draft, I break my foot, and then I look at the draft boards and my name ain't on there no more.
And while most players would get discouraged and believe their NBA chances were gone, Dame was more motivated than ever before. The injury humbled him and proved to be a blessing in disguise. He realized how much he missed the game, which made him work even harder.
I knew people would doubt me after that, after I broke my foot, because it was already a lot of doubt, because I was coming from a smaller school. I really tried to find things that I could help myself with without having to be on the floor.
That was the first time he started lifting weights, which improved his upper body. And he's been going to the gym religiously ever since. Other than the gym, Dame was also on the court every day. He was shooting from a chair, which added more arc to his shot and enabled him to shoot with more range. He even dribbled the ball in a walking boot, doing ball handling drills on
like
one
that,
leg
yeah.
until his arms started hurting. So when the next season started, Lillard didn't need any time to get back in shape. He returned physically stronger, with better ball handling, and with an improved shot. As a redshirt junior, Dame averaged 24.5 points and finished second in the nation in scoring, winning another Player of the Conference award. Before the 2012 draft, a 6'2" Lillard was considered the top point guard in his draft class. And in the end, he was the first point guard selected, with the 6th overall pick, and he joined the Portland Trail Blazers.
The Portland Trail Blazers select Damian Lillard of Weber State University.
Even though he was from Oakland, like Gary Payton and Jason Kidd, Dame was not loud when he arrived in the NBA. He just kept his head down and kept working. Lillard did not impress with his voice, but from his very first game, it became clear that this kid would be a serious player. In his debut, Dame scored 23 points with 11 assists. He didn't change his facial expression. He didn't scream. He just had that icy confidence about him, and he delivered every night.
Back to Lillard. Lillard for the win.
Lillard kept a promise to his mother and won Rookie of the Year, and did so in a spectacular fashion. In a draft class with Anthony Davis, Bradley Beal, and Andre Drummond, Lillard became just the 8th player in NBA history to win every Rookie of the Month award, and just the 4th player to win Rookie of the Year unanimously.
In his first season, he led all rookies in scoring, assists, minutes played, and three-point field goals made. The 2012-2013 NBA Kia Rookie of the Year, Damian Lillard.
As a sophomore, even though Lillard's numbers stayed virtually the same, the Blazers improved significantly. Dame became an all-star together with teammate LaMarcus Aldridge, and Portland qualified for the playoffs. In the first round, they squared up against the Rockets, who had Harden and Howard, and who were considered heavy favorites. But after 5 games, the Blazers led 3 games to 2 and were in the position to win their first playoff series in 14 years. With just 0.9 seconds to go in Game 6, the Rockets had a 2-point lead, and it seemed like they would force Game 7. Unfortunately for the Rockets, the Blazers had Lillard.
A 3 wins the series. It's Lillard. He got the shot off. Lillard. Good! And the Blazers.
Everybody expected the ball to reach Aldridge's hands because he was Portland's best player. But Dame unexpectedly got wide open, got the ball, and shot a deep 3. The ball went in for the win, and Dame became a hero. Unlike that time against Jared Bayless, he didn't rip off his jersey. He just walked it off with an icy stare until his teammates corralled him and knocked him to the floor. In his first ever playoff series, Lillard averaged 25, 6, and 6, with nearly 50% shooting from 3. In the second round against the Spurs, Dame averaged 19 points, but the Spurs were too strong and won the series in 5 games. In Damian's third season, he again featured virtually the same stats of 21 points and 6.5 assists per game, making his second All-Star team.
Can he shut him down like he did last year? Lillard fires. Oh, are you kidding me? At the horn.
But after a disappointing first-round playoff exit, the Trailblazers came to a crossroads. 4 of the 5 starters, led by LaMarcus Aldridge, left the team. Lillard was the only one left, and it seemed like Portland would be bad for a long time. Except the space opened up for another great draft pick, CJ McCollum. CJ blossomed as a starter, and the Blazers again had 2 players who guaranteed 20 points each night. Lillard improved his numbers to 25 points and 7 assists per game, and Portland didn't skip a beat, making the postseason for the 3rd straight time. In the playoffs, they got past the Clippers, but then lost to the Warriors, despite 31 points per game from Dame. In 2017, Lillard improved his regular season averages to 27 points, but somehow missed the All-Star game for a 2nd straight year. The Blazers weren't very good. That's why they decided to trade for center Jusuf Nurkic, someone who runs well, controls the defensive boards, and sets great screens. With the Bosnian beast on the inside, the Blazers made the playoffs. But in the first round, they got swept by the almighty Warriors. That season was more of the same. Lillard averaged 27 and 6, and this time he did make the All-Star and All-NBA first team. The Blazers were third in the West, but this time it was the Pelicans who swept them from the first round of the playoffs.
We lost in the first round, and we got swept with home court advantage. So it was like, after we lost in New Orleans, I was just hurt for like a month. I didn't want to watch basketball or nothing. I just was hurt.
One of the main reasons for the Blazers' playoff failure was the fact that Lillard could not solve the opponents doubling him in the pick and roll. He finished that series with only 18 points on horrible 35% shooting, 30% for three, and only 19 assists to 16 turnovers. It was a huge disappointment in how inefficient and helpless Dame and McCollum were in the playoffs, and the dooming questions started to arise. Should Dame ask for a trade? But as you can probably guess, Dame didn't do that. He worked tirelessly over the summer to improve his game. He watched hours of video of the playoffs and the entire season. And the following year, he returned as a fitter and better player.
This is for the win!
And soon became one of the most complete pick-and-roll ball handlers in the NBA. Lillard became a master in reading the pick-and-roll coverage and started making great decisions against every scheme designed to stop him. He is now able to anticipate trap defenses and kick the ball out before the double comes. Or he patiently waits for it to come, only to split the double and pass to an open teammate. If a team uses drop coverage against him, Dame will just shoot over the top and kill you from the outside. He became very comfortable with the step-back shot, which is arguably one of the best in the NBA. In one-on-one situations, Lillard has excellent hesitation dribbles that free him up, or he'll just turn on the nitro and break through his guard on the way to the hoop.
For us, we proud of the way we bounced back after last year. I think it says something about the character of our group and the environment that we've created. And we also know that, we got to come out here and perform. But I think the good thing is that we were, really excited about getting back and redeeming ourselves. So just happy that we had that opportunity again.
The 2019 season saw a much more patient and mature Lillard, and it was most noticeable in the playoffs. Against OKC in the first round, Dame was surgical in dissecting the Thunder defense, who threw everything against him and couldn't do much. In Game 5 of the series, the score was tied with a few seconds to go, and Lillard dribbled the ball up the floor, guarded by Paul George. The whole world expected him to drive to the basket and get a close look.
So I was standing there looking at the rim, and I was like, this is a comfortable range.
Dame just raised up from 35 feet and hit a buzzer beater that clinched the game and the series for the Blazers. Again, just like that shot against Houston, there was no celebration, just a cold stare and a friendly reminder that clutch time means it's Dame time.
He took one little step this way, I crossed it back over, and I jumped to the right. And I got a clean look at the rim. I was like, that's
in the second round, the Blazers were pushed to Game 7 against the Nuggets, but they managed to win and advance. Finally, in their first conference finals since 2000, Portland had a great chance against the Warriors, who had an injured Kevin Durant. But once again, Golden State proved to be too big a bite for the Blazers to chew. Lillard and McCollum had great moments, but Steph and the Warriors were just on another level, and they swept Portland again. In the offseason, Dame was entering the final year of his deal, and Portland was afraid that he might look for greener pastures. But Dame is a loyal guy. He chose Weber State because they were the first to offer him a scholarship. He still has the same coach from Weber State as his personal trainer. When a new player arrives in Portland, Dame shows him around, takes him out to dinner, and makes them feel at home. Dame even received the J. Walter Kennedy Citizenship Award that the NBA gives for outstanding service and dedication to the community.
I think people get
that joint is heavy.
The loyalty thing about me wrong all the time. They think I'm being so loyal to an organization and so loyal to, a team. The loyalty is ultimately to myself, to who I am. This team hasn't won since '77. I want to be a part of what brings that back.
Then 2 years later, he also received the award for NBA Teammate of the Year. So for Dame, chasing rings somewhere else was never an option. He wanted to stay and win in Portland, and he signed a 4-year extension.
I do want to win a championship, but it's other stuff that means more to me.
Got you. I understand.
It's almost like I'm not willing to sell myself out for that.
In 2020, he had his best regular season in the NBA, averaging 30 points and 8 assists per game. But Portland suffered another blow in the first round of the playoffs. He did wash the bad taste from his mouth by going to the Tokyo Olympics, where he won the gold medal with Team USA. Then in 2021, Dame had another spectacular season, with 29 points and 7.5 assists on average. But once again, the first round was the furthest the Blazers got, despite Lillard averaging 34 points and 10 assists in the series against the Nuggets.
Porter Jr. on him, 5 left in the game. Lillard fading away the three. He got it!
And after 9 seasons, the Blazers fired coach Terry Stotts and replaced him with Chauncey Billups. But before we could have seen how Chauncey would impact the Blazers, Dame got hurt. In 2022, he played only 29 games, after which the management decided to break up Dame and CJ. McCollum got traded to New Orleans. In 2023, Dame returned to his usual form and is currently averaging 27 points and 7 assists per game. Since 2012, when Lillard entered the league, Dame is the player with the most points scored in clutch time, for a tie or lead in the last 5 minutes of the game. In his 11-year career, there isn't a team in the NBA that hasn't been a victim of Dame time at least once. And his celebration of pointing at his wrist saying Dame time has become iconic.
And he's just a loyal guy. And it goes back to his days at Weber State. He turned a small opportunity into like a really big opportunity. Portland's sort of the same. It's a small market. He's made it his own. He's loyal. I think he really believes something special can happen there.
So far, Lillard made the All-NBA team 6 times, made the NBA's 75 best player list, and is in the top 10 all-time in three-pointers made and in free throw percentage. If he retired today, Lillard would be a Hall of Famer. And on top of everything, he's one of the most humble and definitely the most loyal NBA superstar of today. Whether he manages to win a ring in Portland or not, he'll retire as one of the best shooters in NBA history and one of the most clutch players to ever play.
For real. That's the end of this one, y'all. Let me know how y'all feel about this, man. Let me know how y'all feel about Dame Dollar, man. It's one of my favorite players personally. And Dame just dropped 71 recently, too. I almost forgot about that. Different. It goes with what we doing right now. So we just dropped 71. That's crazy, man. And I'm out of here. Hope y'all enjoyed. Turn on post notification. I know I'm out. Matter of fact, click on that next reaction. You know what I'm saying? I'm not out of here yet. We could be back right here. We could be right back here if y'all click on that next reaction. You know what I'm saying? And I'm out of here now, though. Wow.